welcome for yoga practice. We are in the middle of like Pitta energy here in Oregon, where I live. That means that we're having a higher than normal temperature. We're in the Pitta season and we are in the Vata time of day, the 4 p.m. time of day. So we're going to start this practice on the ground, low to the ground, where Vata dosha gets more grounded and Pitta dosha can kind of cool itself off. So I'm going to have you start by lying on your back. And we sometimes call this the starfish pose because we take the feet a little bit wide, like the width of the yoga mat. We take the arms out to the side. And when you first lie down on your back, for anybody for whom you've been sitting a lot today, sometimes just lying on your back is already shifting your posture. And you might feel a little stretch at the hip flexors or possibly in the psoas. And if you have had computer time with a forward head position, you're now getting the spine realigned just by lying down. Please close your eyes and start bringing your awareness into the breath, just as it's coming and going. Don't make any particular changes to the breath. Now is a time for witnessing, not a time for doing something. Like a time for receiving rather than acting. Let's start picturing that if you were lying on the ground and there was a cool breeze, maybe you were in the outdoors, that you would feel that breeze across the skin of your body on the front. And you might joyfully feel the coolness of the earth beneath you on the backside. Use your imagination to sense the cool breeze on the front side, the coolness of the earth on the backside. And keeping a sense of that, we could imagine if there was a gentle breeze, how lovely that would feel. So let's now raise both arms up towards the ceiling with the inhale. And both arms overhead with the exhale. Inhale the arms up to your ceiling, wherever that happens to be. Exhale your arms out to the sides of your room. Inhale, raise back up towards the ceiling. Exhale overhead. Inhale, raise up. And exhale, lower your arms down to where we started in this kind of starfish position. That was not a huge exertion, so notice what your mind did with a simple activity and how it lets go now after the activity. Now please bend both knees, place your feet flat on the floor. Bring your arms down alongside your torso. Let's do palms face down. And as you inhale, raise the arms overhead with one movement. So a long, smooth inhale, breathing from the lower torso to the mid to the upper at the top of the in-breath. And then exhale and lower the arms back to where you started. Notice when the arms go back down to where you began, that the exhale is still going from the lower to the middle to the upper. So on the inhale, the breath and the arms move together. On the exhale, the arms and the breath move at the same pace, but they go in opposite directions. The arms coming down and the exhale departing, lower, middle, upper, and out through the nose. Do that twice more. Now, if you can slow the breath down, what happens is you kind of slow down the ceiling fan of the Vata mind. That is the windy nature of the mind. And slowing the breath down means that you're using your Pitta mind to concentrate. You're bringing some coolness to the Pitta dosha as well. We'll finish with the next exhale. Now place the arms out into a gentle T shape. Make your feet as wide as your yoga mat with the knees bent. And then as you exhale, bring both knees down to your right, turn your head to your left. And inhale, roll up to center. Exhale, knees to your left, nose to your right. Inhale, knees and nose to center. And exhale, knees right, nose left. And see if you can actually pace the movements to match the length of the breath. If you notice that the nose and the knees have a different distance to travel, so they have to travel at different paces. Exhale, knees left, nose right. As we continue, we'll do it a few times more. Start noticing when you drop your knees to the left, nose to the right. Can you also turn the right palm face down, left palm face up? And then inhale, return to center. Both thumbs point up and the knees and the nose meet in the center. Exhale, knees right, nose left, left hand down, right hand up. And then again, inhale to center, and that means that the thumbs will point up as you arrive to center. Once more, knees left, nose right, right hand down, left hand up. And inhale, return to center. Then exhale, deeply relax. The concentration for coordinating and rhythm that comes from the Pitta mind. We're giving it a little assignment right here in the present. Actually, we're asking Pitta to come back home to coordinate within the body rather than coordinating in life at large. So let's now take both knees down to the right again and turn your right palm face down, left palm face up. Rotate your head to your left. We're going to stay for several breath cycles. So when you're inhaling, sense the breath starting in the first third, and then to the middle third, and then to the upper third of the torso. When you exhale, same pathway, first third, middle third, upper third of the breath. One more time. And exhale completely, and then use your next in-breath to return to center. When you rise to center, turn your thumbs to point up as well. Now we're going to take the knees to the left, turn your nose to the right, turn your right palm face up, left palm face down. And let's practice counting the breath now. So you've got a general sense of your pace. So don't change your pace to a number that you're deciding on. Count the breath to discover what's happening, not to control what's happening. Do that one more time. You might see if the inhale and the exhale, could they be equal to each other? And roll your knees and your nose back up to center, the thumbs point up as well. And notice what quality of mind you now meet yourself with. With this process of moving with the breath and coordinating the body, we're trying to bring the Pitta and the Vata mind both back into the body, back home. So let's do another vignette. These are called yoga vignettes. What you're going to do is lie on your left side so that both knees are about 90 degrees to the torso. And take the right arm overhead. If you'd like, you could have a pillow for your head. It would go under on the left side. Do your very best now to keep the two knees stacked. So the knees are not going to become staggered like stairs. So they stay stacked. And then we inhale and reach up and over to the right. And then exhale, reach up and over so that your right hand comes towards your left hand. And then inhale, it's like a rainbow. So we sometimes call this the rainbow twist. Take the right arm over to the right. Try bending the right elbow to bring it down a little ways. And then inhale, straighten the right arm, reach up past your ear and over towards your left hand. Now we are keeping the lower body stable. So as you inhale, reach and rotate from your lower back, mid back, upper back, bend the right elbow so it comes down like the bird of a wing being folded in. And then inhale to reach again. So follow your breath pace where the inhale is the opening of the rainbow twist and the exhale is the return. We'll do it one more time with this movement. At your pace, of course, not at my pace. Okay, and then glide onto your backside and take notice when you arrive here. What does it feel like in the body? Like what's asymmetrical? Where is there aliveness? Where does something now feel dull that might have been neutral before? You might not have noticed it. And then lie on your right side. And again, you could put a blanket for your head. It's not necessary to do so, but you could do that. Reach the left arm overhead. Check that you've got your range of motion sorted out. You're going to be bending the left elbow as you come over. It is totally fine if your arm does not reach the floor. Okay, so let's begin with the inhale. Inhale, raise the left arm. Reach past your ear, keep the legs stable, open the left upper chest, bend your elbow. Inhale, reach. So whenever you're inhaling, you're opening the pose like a flower. And when you're exhaling, you're going to return your left hand towards your right hand. So that has to be at your pace, not at my pace. Let's do it 3 times more. You might notice if your inhale is kind of equal to your exhale, that can be very helpful for the mind.
I found my boards, although my little red bulldog.
And when you finish the next one, go ahead and roll onto your backside. And let's take notice again. What are things feeling like inside? Notice the quality of your mind. You might ask it in this way. If the mind was a ceiling fan, what is its tempo right now? And if your mind were a candle flame, what amount of flicker is going on? The ceiling fan is like the Vata nature of the mind, and the candle flame is like the Pitta nature of the mind. Okay, now please roll over onto your stomach. No kitties are in the way. So when you lie on your stomach, come over so that you have your hands in a kind of prayer position. We call this the Sphinx pose, like the statue Sphinx. And when you place the forearms, lift your heart forward, roll the shoulders back, and energize both legs. So your feet, thighs, kneecaps, they press down. The kneecaps are actually on the floor. And then notice what the pace of the breath is. Now, sometimes we have a limitation of thoracic flexibility because our posture during the day or the time we spend on a computer is changing the thoracic and cervical spine. Let's walk the elbows forward like this. Place your hand. So each hand is going to hold the jaw, like the hinge of the jaw. Let's put the index fingers behind the ears and the other 3 fingers in front of the ears. Lift the base of your skull. Keep the legs gently grounded. And as you're breathing in through the nose, notice the length of the breath in this position. It is ironically possible that you are breathing more deeply right now, even though it might seem to you like that would be harder. But you're stretching myofascial regions along the breathing line and giving access to the upper third of the lungs. This is actually a treatment that we often recommend for asthma, people who have asthma. So take one more deep breath here, keep lifting the base of the skull. And then walk your hands back so they go now underneath your shoulders. And let's bring your forehead face down. Okay, with the palms under the shoulders, energize your legs, lengthen your tailbone. And as you inhale, raise the base of your skull, the back of your shoulders, and then your heart into cobra pose. And then follow your exhale to roll back down, releasing the breath, and with it, any sense of mental heat. Let's inhale through the nose, rise up to cobra. And exhale, glide down, making the exhale at least the length of your inhale or a little bit longer if you'd like to do so. Do it twice more. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, glide down. One more time. Inhale to rise. And exhale, glide down. Now this time when you come down, make a pillow of your hands and rest your forehead there. And let everything relax. It's possible that your body had a little rise in temperature, releasing some of the heat of Pitta. Notice where the breath is geographically now. My guess is that it's more in the lower part of your torso. And then one more time, come back up to your elbows. Walk the elbows forward. Hold the hinge of the jaw. Tone your legs, but don't tighten them. And relax the torso where you're able to. Notice how your body wants to breathe here. And my guess is it doesn't want to leave the breath only in the lower torso. It's also inviting the breath to reach into the upper chest and heart. My other guess is that your body exhales a little bit more completely in this position and that you might feel the inner abdominal muscles helping with your exhale. And then walk your elbows back. Place your hands beneath your shoulders and press up to table pose. Walk the knees in and come up to kneeling. Come up to Vajrasana, we'll call it. Vajrasana means thunderbolt pose. And of course, if kneeling is not comfortable for your knees, you can make an adaptation, whatever you would need to do. But when you come up, now see if you can check in with, if the mind was a ceiling fan, how much Vata is swirling? Or if your mind was a candle flame, how much flickering is happening? And we're going to come into a wide-legged stance. It's called Prasarita Padottanasana. So take a wide stance and come down to a forward bend. And what you can do here is place your hands on a couple of blocks or on the floor. It's really up to you. When you come down, let's try to make the legs one leg distance apart. So from heel to heel, it's the length of one of your legs. And now when we inhale, please bring the torso forward, raise up to your fingertips, open the torso and the rib cage, and then exhale and bow towards your legs. You might place your palms more firmly on your blocks or on the floor and exhale completely. Inhale, glide forward slowly. We're using the concentration of the Pitta mind, and we want the breath to be slow to help Vata mind be more grounded. Do that twice more. And one more time. And exhale completely. Now, raise up onto your fingertips, whether you're on blocks or the floor, and straighten your arms. We're going to take a little journey into the inner thighs. So when you're up on your fingertips, keep the legs stable and just check and see if you, without bending your knees, if you glide your hips to the right, like so the right hip is going to be higher than the left hip, and you glide your hips to the left, left hip higher than the right. My hope is that you're going to start feeling the inner thighs. All right, so let's do this. Glide your hips to the right and notice the left upper inner thigh. Imagine that leg is getting longer. And then begin to bend your right knee so your body weight comes down to your right. Keep your right heel grounded. You can now bend the elbows if you'd like to, and you're welcome to relax your torso and the weight of your head as well. As you feel into the left inner thigh, think of the breath kind of painting the sensations with the breath. Think of it as a color of coolness or something that would feel refreshing to you. And then inhale, raise up to center. Now keep both legs strong so the kneecaps are also stable. And then shift your hips to your left and bend your left knee, glide down to your left. As you come down to your left, paint the breath into the sensations of the right leg. Imagine that maybe it's like a cool breeze, or it's a certain color that to you feels very tranquil or soothing. And then inhale, raise back up to center, straighten both legs. And let's come down to the center once more with the torso as well. Now, keeping the legs stable, reach around the small of your back and interlace your fingers. And roll your shoulders open. So whenever we squeeze and release the joints of the body, we're trying to rebalance the circulation and also to reduce excess heat, like excess inflammation in the joints. So roll your shoulders open, squeeze the upper back a bit, and lengthen your thoracic spine and your neck. Exhale completely. And then release your hands back down to the floor. And notice if there's a release of heat that goes with that, if the arms get a little bit warmer. And then rise up to your fingertips and step your feet back to center, come down to your knees and return to Vajrasana, the kneeling thunderbolt pose. And notice if your mind were a ceiling fan, what is the tempo of your Vata mind right now? If your mind were a candle flame, what is the nature of its flicker? Okay, let's reach for 2 blankets. Mine are here and they're already folded, pre-folded blankets. Okay, place them on your yoga mat to sit on, please. Bring the right knee up and the left leg out. So another thing about Pitta dosha, some of the best poses to help our Pitta become balanced are seated twists, because we're going to kind of compress and then release. So we can think about it like wringing something out like a dish towel. When we compress and then release, you should feel a gentle release of heat and a recirculation of prana in the body, as well as actual circulation. So let's bring the left hand across to the right knee. Do keep your torso and your thigh against each other. And as you twist to your right, walk your right hand around to the floor or to your blankets for support. Roll the right shoulder back. You're welcome to close your eyes. Pitta governs the eyes, so practicing in the afternoon with the eyes closed could be very grounding and calming. Notice the pace of your breath. Again, not trying to control it, but to discover what it is. And then with an exhale, release this pose. And let's take notice when you release it. Does it feel like your arms get warmer? Is there a sense of the blood supply flowing once again? Maybe like a little warming spot in the lower back, for example. And then bend the left knee in, take the right leg out, cross your right hand around your left shin. Make the torso snug so that your thigh and your torso touch each other. Then walk your left hand around, either to the floor or to the blankets. Look over your left shoulder. Observe the pace of the breath for discovering. Again, not controlling, but learning about. And then exhale and come around to face forward. Again, notice if there's any kind of change of temperature in the body anywhere. And now scooch forward of your two blankets and place them under the back of your heart when you lie down. Now, for some of you, it's going to be really helpful. I just laid down into a sunbeam. It's going to be helpful to really think about where you are on the blankets. And in some cases, having support under your head is going to be essential. So we want the blankets to allow the shoulders to go off the back side of the blankets. But we also want the rib cage on the blankets. So your shoulders are just kind of melting off the back side of the blankets. Put the arms into a kind of a cactus pose so the elbows are bent. And if the arms are currently floating off the floor because they can't relax down to the ground, then choose only one blanket, not two. And if your head needs support, again, please provide that. And notice the nature of this back bend. Opening up the heart. Let's ask the rib cage to relax kind of downward. So the floating ribs are not poking up towards the ceiling, but rather softening down towards your abdomen. Notice any changes that are happening in the upper chest or the heart. And then carefully, if you don't have support under your head, go ahead and raise your head to put one hand under your head and then thoughtfully roll to your right side. Press down against the floor to rise up to sitting and then spin around. So you're going to put your knees over the two blankets like this. When you come down onto your back now, this is pretty much where we started, that we didn't have the blankets under the knees. Let's notice once more if the ceiling fan of the mind has changed or if the candle flame of the mind has changed.
Wow, that's cool.
Now, any changes that you're noticing, do your best to be in a kind of witnessing, not controlling. You're not pushing for outcomes. We're observing what's happening. Now bring awareness to your right leg, and I'd like you to squeeze the right butt muscles, straighten your right leg so your foot will come off the floor there, but the knee will be on the blanket. Squeeze the whole leg so all the muscles are engaged, and take a breath down into your right foot. And then exhale, totally relax the right leg back down to the ground, like just let it drop down. Do that 3 times for the right leg. So inhale, squeeze. And exhale, release. One more time. Inhale to squeeze.
You know what we need? For the plan. It's a storm door.
And then exhale to release all the way down. Now left leg. Inhale, squeeze. Squeeze the left butt and the thigh muscles and pull the toes back towards your head. Exhale, release. And twice more. Exhale, release. And last time. Exhale to release. Now with the arms, let's point both arms up toward the ceiling. Squeeze your hands into fists. Squeeze all the arm muscles and your shoulder muscles. And then keep the fists as you squeeze and exhale, lower out to the side. Maybe come like an inch or two from the floor. And breathe in. And exhale to relax. So now we're going to do both legs and both arms. So squeeze both legs, pull the toes back towards your head, raise your arms up, give a good squeeze. Everything squeezes, arms and fists, hips and legs and feet. And then exhale, lower your arms down to about 2 inches from the floor. Breathe in for one more squeeze. And then exhale to relax. And let the mind go inside as if it were a submarine. Go inside to notice the heat is moving out towards your limbs, hands and feet. What can you notice in the deep inner belly? Keep your mind resting inside this kind of submarine, the submarine mind. Just noticing if the inner belly were like a deep place in the ocean, quiet, and tranquil. The light dappling through the ocean. Welcome yourself to deeply relax into that kind of image. Notice how different parts of your body may be getting heavier and more relaxed. Invite your mind to do the same. Allow the mind to stay in the submarine of the inner belly, observing the deep relaxation of the body and your mind. Deeply relax all 5 senses and all 4 limbs, and let your mind become even more grounded. Just a couple more minutes of lying still. Allow it to be really deeply renewing. Now I'd like you to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees. Place your feet up on the blankets. Roll to your side, and we're going to come up to sit for a short pranayama practice. One of you asked me before class today if the kitties use their little caves, and Nakula just climbed in there a moment back. Can't really see him that well because he's back far enough that he's not showing up. But he went in. Please take a seat on your blankets. I have two blankets that I'm sitting on, but really the blankets are supporting the very base of the sacrum, like the tailbone area. So you can sit comfortably, of course, but as close to the ground as you feel will be stable for you. Rest your hands in your lap. Notice how you're feeling having done the physical asana part of class. Now, as a cooling breath practice, there is a special practice that cools off the Pitta dosha quite nicely. And it's called Chandra Vedana. We call it moon breathing. The moon is reflecting the light from the sky. The moon doesn't have its own light source, so it's considered cool and reflective. So bring your right hand, so you've got your thumb and your ring finger. Place them at the bridge of the nose where it becomes the cartilage. We're going to close the right side of the nose. We'll inhale left side only, and we'll exhale right side. And then we're going to, again, inhale left side and exhale right side. So we breathe in on the left, it's a cooling breath. We breathe out on the right, we're releasing the heat on the exhale. Let's begin. Don't make yourself breathless, but begin to notice if the inhale and exhale might be equal to each other, or if the exhale could be slightly longer than the inhale. And release your hand down after the exhale, the next exhale. And ask once more, if the mind were like a ceiling fan, what is its tempo? Or if it were like a candle flame, what is its flicker? What is the pace of its flicker? And noticing the pace of the mind. Also begin noticing that you're noticing. So we call that witnessing that which is witnessing. And we're able to have this kind of space between our thoughts and our reactions when we're able to witness ourselves, seeing ourselves, we're actually able to interrupt thought patterns and the behaviors that go with them before they take us to the rodeo. We'll bask in the quietude for one more minute. You can notice yourself noticing yourself without any judgment, without even telling a story about yourself. Please raise your hands to your heart. Thank you so very much for your attention and for your intention here. May this practice help to bring your Vata dosha back down to be more grounded and the Pitta dosha back down to be more focused on what matters most. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Now let's see